just different.
Yo, peace and black power. It's your brother Knowledge from Live. Do the Knowledge Radio. The place where knowledge is
Do
born.
Knowledge Radio.
This is 3K.
Think Tank.
This is 3K.
Hey.
This is 3K.
I swear that knowledge is born. It's where I swear that knowledge is born. It's where I swear that knowledge is born. It's where I swear that knowledge is born. Who ducked, who drew down, return fire. We're the warriors, the healers, enlighten us. I'm tired of the same old, that game old with an upgrade. I'm a sunbathe in the sun rays while my guns blaze and they complain. Devil, my level not attainable. I'm metal, not malleable. I'm a man, didn't need that manual. Reparations is incalculable. Yeah, we wanted in blood, dead in the begging, head in the beheading, metal to the meddling. Members is aggressive, getting to the Armageddon. Karma, seem calmer when it comes to retribution. Caliber, catalyst in my clips and I use them on traitors and haters and the ones that spread confusion. Cause the devil's playground wasn't built for our amusement. Hey, meet me at the guard hour. Hey, in these strange days, you gon' need a strong counter. Spin like Beyblade. Impenetrable armor, Orient aura. This story, this saga, get gory before it get calmer. Keep holding that revolutionary posture. 85 gon' dip and dodger, but when they get monster, they turn into MC like earrings and become door knockers. I'm irate, they pirate the culture, send them to Davy Jones' locker. It's okay. Okay. Let them think that you lost it. Be patient, this type of thing you can't force it. Play possum, but nah, not know about the road. Then they can't comprehend cause the language is coded. We plan ideas and we plan explosives. Make your pockets go for more bits or more bread. The portal done open, they can't close it. You ain't got a sideline, you could cause more risk. No set birth date, no Dorian Gray portrait. It's about to get ugly and these devils can't forfeit. Ancestral memories, so no, I won't forget. What we building is an impenetrable fortress for show. Every show is just like a courtship, and my flow for show tighter than your gal's corset. It's okay. We are the source, you can't outsource it. Even Spartans don't want no parts, Neff. What do you know? Before you know it, 3,000 wild Africans at your doorstep. Hey, meet me at the guard hour. Hey, in these strange days, you gon' need a strong counter. Spin like Beyblade. No, we will not cower while the rest they play safe. We will move with God's power. This is not for play. Honor my ancestors, play the Ori day. Peace to you, loved ones, stay dangerous and stay safe. AKAs and AKs coming to make their caves cave. Wreck the race like take case, stay dangerous and stay safe.
Brothers just walk up on me, and they're just like, you know, you can just see the hunger in their eyes. Like as soon as you know what I mean? They was like, yo, you know, we a group, and we think that you would fuck with us, and you know, I'm telling you, like, we nice, and just give us a fucking chance type of shit, you know?
Peace and black power. Peace and blessings to the family. Welcome to another episode of Do Knowledge Radio, the place where knowledge is spawn. This is your host, Knowledge Wanna Lie. And I ain't played my intro in so long. I forgot I had an intro. Understand what I'm saying? I'll be in the mix, in the mission, on the moon. But look, we here on a special day, okay? On a Thursday, it's going out on a Thursday, and we're gonna get into one of the epic movies, okay? I think we got like an Eddie Murphy thing going on right now, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna just roll with the Eddie Murphy, okay? All right. And we'll be talking about Vampire in Brooklyn, and I could not talk about Vampire in Brooklyn without the mastermind of Soljet Healing Community, our priestess, okay, our artist, our author, our motivator, our inspirer, okay, our corrector in the building. Let's give it up and show some love. One more again. For Cali's own Sis'star Kola Soljet. Clap. Snap.
My mic was off. What's good?
What's good with you? What's good?
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. How you feeling?
I'm feeling all right. I'm feeling pretty good during this, retrograde and all of this after effect of the eclipse. I'm feeling pretty cool.
Look, that retrograde done hit my connection. Is my screen froze on your side?
Yeah, it's frozen. Mhm.
It's that quick. Okay. Well, I'm gonna adjust that, and we can talk about Vampire in Brooklyn. Okay,
Yeah.
Brooklyn. Mic check 1 2. Am I back in the building? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I turned my mic off. I can hear you.
Okay. Did you hear anything I said, or was I talking
I
in
didn't hear
wind?
you. No, I didn't hear you. I heard you when you were talking, when you were asking, was it frozen? I could hear you until you went out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about the movie, and I think that Wes Craven, this was an attempt for him to appeal to his black audience. I think when he made Nightmare on Elm Street, the series, I think his original intent was a different demographic. And I think we took to it like a fish to water, so to speak. So I think that this was his appeal to try to make a crossover film to, kind of placate to his base that was really running around with the Freddie mask and buying all of the outfits and all that. You see what I'm saying? And doing all of the lines from the movie more so.
Yeah.
So as is good and it's bad. I think it's more bad than good. So I wanted to open up the floor to you, for your initial thoughts.
Open up the floor to me first. Well, Vampire in Brooklyn was an interesting movie. I thought it was different to see Eddie Murphy in a horror, even though it was like a dark humor horror. It was still, had some pretty. They did pretty good on some of the scare factors in the movie. It was pretty interesting to see him in some of the roles or how he transformed.
Right.
So yeah, I enjoyed it as far as on the entertainment level. Was probably like maybe my fifth favorite Eddie Murphy movie or something, but not like, but I thought it was still something to discuss. So I'm with you with it,
Right.
however you want to But you can go ahead. That was my take just on Maximillian.
Right. One of the questions is why Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
Maximilian is a German name. Brooklyn is a German name.
Mm.
One of the places in the United States where many of the people who were not neo-Nazi sympathizers, they came in and established Brooklyn.
Mm.
So there's a connection to Brooklyn. Like it's even spelt wrong. Like if you went to Germany and you looked in the German language, you would see uh, Brooklyn spelled completely different. So
Mm. Okay.
that was just interesting. It's like Breu.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? Versus the Brook where they have OOK. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So the
Right.
U, the like they how they do it in the German language. They have a like the E is like a O with the dot over it. So they if they was trying to translate it, it would be like EU for the O. So it was just
Mm.
interesting. I was like that connection between why Brooklyn. His name is Maximillian, coming from the
Mm.
Caribbean. Like all of
Mm.
these things in
Mm.
regards to this, misnomer. He didn't come with an African name. He didn't come with these other spaces because the lore is supposed to be this came out of Germany.
Mhm.
You see
I
what I'm
was thinking
saying?
that
Like,
too. When you said that, I was wondering, like, but that's because I guess, well, did he shapeshift into a black
yes.
person? Because the whole thing is, you know, um, they migrated like to after he left, I guess the Caribbean, but they could have was somewhere else before that. I don't know, but they said they went into the Bermuda Triangle, but some of them went elsewhere, and he chose to go through Africa. So is that the African connection, or I don't know?
It's
But
interesting too because if you just remember in the movie when John Witherspoon and Kadeem Hardison go up on the ship, well, actually, Angela Bassett, when she's walking through the ship, she sees all of the bodies, right?
mm-hmm.
They're all white.
Mm,
So you look at the ship, you see what I'm saying? And with the ship, what represent coming in over in that space on this trek through the Atlantic, it looks like he got revenge. You see what I'm saying? It looked like he got revenge, based off of this stolen legacy. You know, so whether he was taken out, kicked out, whatever it was, he was his bloodline was decimated, and he was the last survivor in his bloodline.
mm,
So this was interesting that they have this black figure coming over in this boat in this coffin with all of these extra things that are there. You see what I'm saying? Going through that middle passage type situation,
mhm,
and they show a different representation with him being a animal and then turning into a man. So he was like, John Singleton was like, not John Singleton. What's his name? John
John
Witherspoon said.
Witherspoon, yeah.
He said, "You see Wolfman? You see what I'm saying? Like so, all of these things that were fan favorite horrors, he's shouting them out like in a comedic kind of way. So he's talking about like uh American Werewolf in London. Like so, this guy goes from a werewolf into a man. You see what I'm
Mhm,
saying? So it's just interesting these connections that they show from the other part of the lore. It's the Likings and the vampires had a feud. So they show him as a Liking, werewolf, quote unquote, or wolf, transforming into a man.
oh, yeah,
So
that is
it's
interesting because vampires and wolves generally don't get along. Like
right,
on the movie Twilight, they fought each other.
right, or underworld, or any of that.
Yeah, any of those. I just use that as an example, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
So she's there. She discovers this. The guys, when they get on there, they just is like, all right, I'm out of here. They don't see anything. I think that was interesting. She saw everything. They didn't see anything when they went on their boat. So I believe her backstory is that she is from her mother, half vampire, half human. You know, it just made me think of Blade type situation. And she saw her mother in the casket when she went on the boat. Because that was interesting, because when she said, because Alan Payne thought she was crazy, she said, wait, the casket. And she went back in there. And he shined the light and it was gone. And she snatched the light from him and she started looking around. You know how your mama do, like, boy, give me this.
Yeah.
It's right there.
Yeah. Like she's trying to convince him that she know what she saw, you know?
Yeah. She had a sight that he didn't have. Just like the men who went on the boat previously. I think that was interesting. So go ahead.
Very. I don't know. I was about to say something about what you were saying, but I was also thinking about this whole Bermuda Triangle thing.
Right.
You know, and that they use that as explanation to all of the people on the planet that have gotten in this vicinity of the Bermuda Triangle and the planes that's disappeared and the people that disappeared. That's some type of a vampiric force.
Right.
There that is sucking, you know, sucking it into what this portal is. I thought that was interesting. I also think the part is interesting when you were saying about everybody was white on the ship. That was interesting too. Like was her daddy white? They never really said.
Right.
She got this very Republican hair and stuff, so
right, and they got the same hair too, though.
Right.
You know, like they.
That actually stood out when I was watching the synopsis. They sitting there looking like Michael Jackson and the Carefree Curl Girl on Thriller.
Right. Right.
So,
ooh, yeah.
you know, just kind of had, and he was a wolf.
Yes. Yes.
That's interesting.
Yes, that was deep. There might have been an ode. There might have been an ode to it, because you know Eddie Murphy's relationship with Michael Jackson over the years. It might have been some kind of ode. I think that was dope. I don't think if Eddie Murphy wouldn't have did it, because there's like a vampire one before. It's a blaxploitation film.
Blackula,
and there's another one. The name
was it called Vamp or something?
It's the same as it's Sugar Hill.
Oh, Sugar Hill. Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah. So it's the same kind of space. You know, it's a New York story / Harlem story. You know, type situation with, you know, like some vampiric / undead folks in there. You see what I'm saying? So that our space in regards to, you know, the horror films isn't one that's foreign. It's one that we interpret things in that, you know, same kind of space. So
I wonder why though. Some of these weird horror movies they come up with, I'm not gonna say it's weird, but it's definitely like just not our everyday stuff. We really, with Black people in it, like Candyman. Why they always make it take place in like a place that's heavily populated with Black people? You know, like they put Candyman in Cabrini Green Projects,
right.
Which we probably should do Candyman.
Heard you was looking for Candyman.
yeah, you know, but that's interesting because I'm not trying to be funny and I don't want to be controversial, but I'm gonna just say
be controversial and be funny.
Not funny like that, but I mean not funny like comical funny, but I'm speaking to like, I don't know. The first thing I thought of when you said German, but before that I was thinking just Jew. you know, the vampire aspect of
Yes.
what goes on in New York. And what is that really, you know? So I just kind of went to that, you know, like making a vampire go wild in Brooklyn, you know,
Right.
that's interesting. And they do have vampires in, yeah, I'm gonna just leave it there.
The underplay for the overplay. So the song and the dance and to make it look comedical and like we're not into it or tapped in on what's going on, and you know, even down to the space where he becomes the preacher, right? He becomes the preacher and he does the evil is good serving, you know,
They
outside
made
of
him
the church.
black also. So that's another way to throw it off. They made him black, the vampire.
Right,
So you
right.
want to go to the evil is good part. Okay, cool.
It's just interesting because I know, you know, you're a traditionalist. So as a traditionalist, he's saying things in space of duality, right? He's
Yeah,
saying this
absolutely.
in the space of duality. So, you know, aside from the banter, what he was saying, you know, what did you think about what he was saying in regards to duality?
Um, to me, I thought that was the place that I was the only points I was gonna have to build on is the part with the church. So I have to like go back and revisit the movie through,
Mhm.
you know, just reading a little something. But I mean, it's interesting because it reminded me of something that somebody I know be saying, you know, about like sex and different things when you have like these certain, you know, it's almost like if you go into the sermon, he was even speaking to like he was talking about ass and he was saying it in the church, like, and they looking at him like, y'all looking at me like, why the preacher talking about ass? If it wasn't for ass, you
Right.
wouldn't be here,
Be
right?
here, right?
So
Yes.
that part is the duality part, you know, like even the way the church makes us feel shame about sex.
Hmm.
And that's what I was speaking to, like how I have a certain reservations about certain conversations and stuff, right? But
Hmm.
it's like maybe feeling like that may be negative, but at the end of the day, it's natural. And also that I don't know if about the evil is good because evil and good, well, good and evil is based on perception and
Right.
it's subjective. But at the same time, he's like saying that, I mean, I can take two things from it. A lot of evil people are rewarded on the planet. So clearly, maybe evil is good in that sense because they do all of this evil and it seems like they keep getting rewarded um, for the evil they do. But at the same time, it also speaks to good and evil being in the same space all the time. Like you can't eradicate one without the other. Evil is good. I get it in the sense of, like in E5, they say, in every essence of good, there's evil. And in every essence of evil, there's good. So in that sense, he's right. In that sense, you know, but
And that was the first time I heard "Necessary Evil." I wouldn't hear it again to
necessary evil.
Dark
Explain.
Knight Rises. Bane, he said, the guy said to him, he said, "You're pure evil." He said, "I'm necessary evil." You see what I'm saying? So he
Right,
didn't
right.
deny that his existence was, he qualified his existence. Like, yeah, I'm
Mhm.
necessary evil. In this instance, I'm evil to you. Like, you looking at me, the bloodsucker of the city, right? There's a guy and the masked man, Bane, right? He's the bane of the masked man's existence. Who's the masked man? The corporate structure and all of the people who sucking the blood out of the city, right?
Right.
So the corrupt cops and the judges and all of that stuff, people get by with technicalities. So someone coming to stop that, like you said, is subjective. It's, you know, perception. You see what I'm saying? So how you
Mhm.
perceive it. So he said that he said, I'm necessary evil. So in this place, I'm necessary evil. So, you know, he's using this necessary evil space to challenge the mind of thinking that it's one-sided.
Right.
He said, you hear this story. What about the other side of the story? It's two sides to every story, and everybody agreed to it until he was painting these pictures, right? Then it looked like it became personal. He said, "Brother went down there with a $2." You understand what I'm saying? So he was saying it in a way where even with some folks that's up the cloth, they out there and they preaching. If they preach a little too strong or it seem a little uh too personal, they deem as controversial. But these
Right.
same folks say they want the truth. You see what I'm saying? So I think he presented, you know, truth from a dualistic fashion for you to look at
Right. I mean, he did say without ash, you wouldn't be here.
it. Right, right.
So it's in a way it's saying that without evil, you wouldn't be here. That's considered evil because they are like, they run side by side, if you want to call it, the duality aspect of it. So even in the garden of this, the story of Eden, even in that garden, I mean, they're good and evil. Obviously, if the tree had good and evil on it, it was existing in one tree. How could that
Right,
be? You
right.
know, another conversation for another day. How could good and evil be in the same tree?
Whew.
What was the roots rooted
Yes.
in? Yeah. Let me write that down before I forget it. Yeah, but anyway.
There was another part that you just spoke about in regards to, for me to paraphrase, would be the word karma. So why does it look like in a society the evil people are winning? And I saw a little video where there's an elder woman there talking to her. Well, her son comes to visit her, and she appears to have dementia.
Mhm.
So she appears to not have no grip on anything in reality, quote unquote. So he's there, he's talking to him. He's like, "You are the nicest person I know. Uh, you never said a harmful word to anybody. You're always there for everybody else. Blah 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 blah." That's what he's saying. And he said, "I'm evil." Right? He said, "I'm evil. I don't care nothing about nobody. You know, this and that." He said, "Your life is in shambles, and my life is perfect."
Mm.
He said, "You ever think about why that is?" And she speaks to him directly, and she said, "God sometimes wants people to be evil to feel like it's okay, like nothing's gonna happen. But it's a prison that you live in your whole life.
Mm.
So you're comfortable there so you don't leave it. You see what
Mhm.
I'm saying? So she's like basically, I'm a paraphrase. Basically, God doesn't want you to turn away from evil back to him.
Mm.
So he keeps you in this prison where it looks lavish, but it's still a prison.
A
And it's
pretty
a
prison.
prison, right?
Pretty
It's a pretty
prison.
prison. And then after she answers him, she turns around and looks to him and says, "Who are you supposed to be again?" So she heard everything that he said, and she answered him in a way that he didn't expect her to answer. But then she looked at him like, "Who are you supposed to be again? Like, who are you again?"
And what is this you're quoting?
It's just a video somebody sent to me. It's from a movie. It's like a
Okay.
movie scene. So,
Yeah.
you know, karma looks different. My point was karma looks different to some people. Some people's karma might be $100 million,
Yeah.
and they don't have no rest, they don't have no peace, they don't have no sleep.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All of that, like it's around their neck. It look like they got stuff, and they can't exist without the stuff no more. You can't separate them from that, whatever the case may be. So just in the instance, as you said, good and evil is interpretive, it's subjective, it's perspective, it's how you see it. So
Mhm.
I think our ancestors always did a good job of telling us stories in regards to impart these things in a way that we would understand. You know?
Mm.
And you can look at any ancient civilization and they have some stories in regards to that.
Yeah. So I guess the way the world look at things, if it's comfortable, is it a prison?
Hmm.
Is it really a prison if it's comfortable? Um, yeah, they go back to subjectivity. Some people choose to be slaves because it's comfortable. But I want to go back to the movie aspect. You were speaking to the Egyptian, um, a lot of the Egyptian. It was rooted in Egyptian.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't want to say folklore. I want to say because it was speaking to the vampires. So it's mixing up whatever story that they created with some of our um, philosophies and things that we have written in the pyramids and in our scrolls, scriptures, however you want to. What is it in the metal netter?
Mm-hmm.
you know, um, and it was speaking to the origin of how they went to Egypt. Some of the vampires went into Egypt or whatever. So, what did you think of the vampires in Egypt and the Sekhmet connection? They didn't. I don't know if they really spoke it to Sekhmet, but then that goes kind of into the Queen of the Damned too. It's that same,
Mm-hmm.
like they both were Wes Craven movies, Queen of the Damned
Right.
and Vampire in Brooklyn, so they do have that connection. So, what do you think of that aspect of it, or what did you want to say about the cultural
Well,
aspect of the
it goes back to, even this film, Angela Bassett's in this film, she has sight beyond sight. So she's there trying to relate that to those who can't see. They don't understand what's going on. You see what I'm saying? Even her friend, Nikki, she didn't know she walked right into a trap.
right?
You see what I'm saying? So because of her connection to the passion, you see what I'm saying? She wanted some compassion. She wanted something. You see what I'm saying? She wanted some of that, and that became something that blinded her to something she would have been on point from. So
Mm,
naturally, she wouldn't have done what she did if she was paying attention to her intuition. So it went to her own undoing. So that's a jewel. She said, if you look at Akasha and Queen of the Dam, she was all powerful, but she got drunk with the power, and it was something that took her out. If you go back to Sekhmet, Sekhmet is Heteru. Heteru exists in this space of balance, exists in this space of reproduction, exists in this space of duality, right? So she keeps things in balance in dance and love and reproduction, right? When she gets ignored or neglected by her father, Ra, she becomes angry. She becomes vengeful in the spirit, and she begins to kill. She becomes Sekhmet, right? So
mm,
when you go out of balance, when you go out of the space, when you go out of the realm of something, I just use easier example. Problems start off small, and when you don't take care of them when they're small, they begin to fester. They become larger. So the
mm,
small things, they be like, don't sweat the small stuff. And you're supposed to sweat the small stuff so they don't become large things.
right.
So this small thing now becomes the large thing. And as it spirals out of control or out of balance, you come to a crossroad, right? You come to a crossroad where you have to make a decision to take care of it or not. So now, after you go beyond the crossroad, there's a dragging that takes place. Sekhmet is that dragon that takes place. You know, after that, if you don't take care of it, there's death.
Mm,
You see what I'm saying? So she exists in a space where there's a judgment for what needs to be done or the neglect thereof, and you have to deal with that beyond the crossroad. After the crossroad, you're in her realm. So in this realm, you see his space when he saw the cross, right? The crossroad, right? He was at the crossroad and he made that decision. If he went further, he would have died, right? And that church that he was in, back to that example, when he went outside, that's it. That's where he's at, right? And he was on fire. She has that fire there, right? And she killed the enemies of Ra. And what they needed to do in order to subdue that aspect of her was to get her some beer. So Hootie made her some beer with some blood in it.
Pomegranate.
Right. So
whatever they used, they made that they was running out of blood, I think.
right.
She didn't kill everybody.
If you look at right, so if you look at if you look at that aspect is bloodlust, right?
Yeah.
So bloodlust. So that going into intemperance or excess causes an undoing. So, what Akasha, bloodlust, with this movie, bloodlust. You see what I'm saying? So all of these aspects having that same sort of bloodlust in regards to that connection to, what was going on. So
what about lust in general? Because as you beat these women up for not having intuition, the demise was the same. It was sex. They were both Angela Bassett and what's the lady name? Nikki was seduced by his sexual whatever he had going on. But then they said he could read people's mind and do all of this other Jedi mind tricks. So not to bash men, but I mean, what does that say to the whispers in their ear? Because it's all lust. He wanted their blood. They wanted his whatever he got.
He was looking to continue his species. His species had died out. He was the last one. So
but he didn't want Nikki. He wanted the other lady.
Right, because she was from his bloodline, partially.
Yeah.
So in order for her to do what he needed to do, she had to change. So it was something that was connected. It don't make it right. Predator is predator.
I was just speaking to both ladies. They were everybody was taken in by the lust of it. You were speaking to bloodlust, but I'm saying lust in general is what caused her to lose her life. It was lust. It wasn't, even if she used her intuition, it was something that was drawing her to a sexual, because she didn't even know him. So, it was just like, I don't know. Could it have been her being, did she meet him in the apartment or outside the apartment though?
Outside the apartment. He appeared after Alan Payne left.
Okay, that's right. Because she was trying to throw herself. See, that goes back to what I'm saying though. I want to speak to this part of it, because a lot of women do stuff like this. She was just into some other type of stuff that she had this void in, because she was trying to sleep with Alan Payne. He rejected her. She slept with a random. That ended her life. Whether that comes through disease or come through a man actually killing you. So that's interesting as well. Just that lack of self-control, discipline, and like you said, maybe not using her intuition,
Right.
Just wanting to be seduced by that energy. Very interesting. And then the other one got bit too. It didn't take but one time. I mean, he was getting these women like on the first time. She got into vampire mode like instantly, so he like literally bit her, like, and they just did this whole, she was transforming on the full moon or whatever, to, what she was going to be. And she was already half vampire, so she was already becoming full, full-fledged.
Right. Yeah, so it's interesting how our desires, like the same thing that motivates you, is the same thing you could be met with your demise. Back to that duality.
Yeah. That's deep. I just wanted to bring that part there, and I was just saying that because, he has some type of a power with how he projects, and a lot of times, men don't realize or women don't realize that men possess the same similar powers that we have. They always call women seductresses, but men can be that way too. They could be word wizards. They can whisper in your ear. They can make you think and feel certain things. So it goes both ways, with that. And he was using his power of influence, not just on them, but on others as well. I mean, what about Kadeem Hardison, who we haven't spoke about yet, and his role as the ghoul?
That's the ghoul. Yeah, somebody always advocate for the devil, won't they? no matter what.
Did he have a
Right.
choice? I mean, damn, he just kind of appeared.
Yeah, he was seeking to save his life at the expense of his life at the same time. You see what I'm saying? So
Still
he
doing the
became
game stuff, still running
right,
game now, still using these tactics,
right.
vampirism at its finest, really.
Yeah, he was advocating for the devil at the expense of himself. So a ghoul's, according to the law that was in the film, a ghoul's uh, destiny, he's in a space like a what you call it.
Flying monkey.
He physically looked like a fly bucky, right? But the space, but the moth, well, the not the what's the little thing that crawl around and turn into a butterfly?
Oh, he was a caterpillar in the
Yeah,
cocoon.
yeah.
He
See,
was
caterpillars in between the caterpillar cocoon state,
metamorphosis.
right?
He was
So
going through a metamorphosis. Yeah.
right, and hopefully he would become a vampire. You see what I'm saying? Like every caterpillar doesn't turn into a butterfly, even though every butterfly was once a caterpillar. So in that space, you see him start to deteriorate. So it's showing a visual representation of how the caterpillar becomes a butterfly, you know, or they stay in that cocoon state, and in that cocoon state he dies. You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So he's a ghoul. He has a bit of the blood. So he was compelled by the bloodlust back to the same thing. You see what I'm saying? So even his outward appearance and his demeanor and the way he even spoke, they had some comedic banter back and forth. That had to have been classic. I don't even know how they filmed some of the scenes because Kadeem and Eddie was kind of going back and forth like the way him and Martin Lawrence was. But
Mhm.
when you're tied in and compelled by this particular bloodlust, it's something that compels him. So he's like, did he have a choice? No, because he had already
No
made the
more
choice.
than Mickey, the whore
Right,
of Babylon.
right.
No more than Angela Bassett. It was so simple. It was like he had eyes that looked like Erykah Badu. And as soon as they look at him, they was captivated by the Badu curse. Carried by the vampire in Brooklyn. See, Erica Badu was probably a vampire in Brooklyn too, and people just don't know. See, she got that same effect on people. Don't look at her eyes. You may become a ghoul, but
What was
um,
that Boondocks? He said, "What he was it Boondocks?" Did he say, "Don't look Usher in the eye"? Who it was? He said
Prince,
somebody. Don't look,
somebody, but
he said, "Don't look at it in the eye."
let's not. Let's. Damn. So I was kind of tripped out on. I know this was like the preachers and everybody trying to, these people are trying to attack the vampire now and stuff, right? They're in
Right.
full fledged. What would possess those people to put holy water and condoms and water? They was hitting people upside the head with condoms with holy water in it. Like, what does that represent? Because we know semen, water, blood, all of those represent some form of life force. And
Right. Showing that you anti-life,
yeah.
showing that you again. It's an advocacy space of what does this do? This prevents life.
Mhm,
You see what I'm saying? So
mhm.
hitting people upside the head and damning them so they don't continue life. Isn't there a war on mother? Isn't there a war on familyhood? You see what I'm saying? Like
I don't know if you
these things
remember
are
that part, but he was hitting the head with a condom and half his head disappeared. It started melting
yeah.
because the holy water was in the condom. So they was hitting the almost, I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna leave that there. That's some Eddie Murphy shit. Him and Charlie came up with.
Every Charlie, yeah.
Because Charlie and Vernon wrote the movie, okay?
Right.
So
Yeah. He's like,
movie,
yeah. What if they? Look, you imagine them in the writing room? Yeah. What if they use the holy water, but they got the holy water in condoms? That'd be some fly shit.
and water guns. And water guns.
Uh, yeah, they had like the super soakers and shit. You know what I'm saying? They did the rest in peace, Charlie.
Yeah, rest in peace to a lot of people. Movie took place in October 27, 1995. They were in Scorpio season when it was released. I said rest in peace to a lot of people because let's acknowledge the sister Sonya Davis, who was a stunt woman on the set. And it was I was today years old when I found out about it, but she fell to her death after asking them over and over again, are they sure they wanted her to jump? And they instructed her to jump. So um, she received $10 million in a lawsuit. She was in a 13-day coma and she finally died. And what it was is the airbag that she was supposed to fall on or whatever was too small. And they were sued for her being, the parents were suing because she was forced to do a stunt that she wasn't comfortable with. And so they sued Eddie Murphy and Wes Craven. And it was her last words that her mom said, are you sure you don't want to put on whatever the extra precaution was? There was something that they were supposed to put on her. And she said, Mom, I don't need it. I got the Lord in my heart. And she died, right after that. So I thought that was interesting.
Deep.
Do you think that added to the effect of the set, or what type of spirit or energy? You know me, I'm looking at it.
Yes.
What type of energy was really invoked even on the set? Because all of these things are rituals anyway. Yeah. So that's why I spoke to why Brooklyn, why the vampire. Then we got this sister, young Black lady that died on the set and didn't even get acknowledged. I mean, we didn't know about it. And I'm sure it's because they didn't want to put that kind of energy towards what they were doing. But I thought that was, her life was, it meant enough to be acknowledged, in relation to the movie. And there's some good YouTube videos about it if anybody, want to look. Her name is Sonya Davis. Yes. It kind of reminded me of the Wizard of Oz. They had people literally dying on the set and they continued the movie. So to me, that's crazy, Yeah,
if you look at The Exorcist and a couple other films, there were deaths related to
Brandon Lee. You brought that up the other day. Brandon Lee.
Yeah, he died on the set. They killed him on the set, actually.
Killed him. Murdered on the set. But if they telling her to jump and they not ready to catch her, wouldn't that be murder too? I mean, they don't. I'm just saying, deep. We don't. It's a lot of. I would just say a lot of blood, sweat, and tears going to making movies. Yeah.
Figuratively and literally.
So. That's right.
Yeah.
All spiritual components too. Blood, sweat, and tears. But anyway.
Bruce Lee was never on a set where he wasn't attacked or someone tried to kill him. Never.
Take his life.
Yeah.
And they just passed on. Yeah, that's deep. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty interesting though. Yeah. I don't know. I didn't think I would have this much to say about Vampire Brooklyn, honestly. This was kind of random, like that's the Vampire Brooklyn, okay. But spirit always leads. And I feel like we, there's some really good things that we touched on in this particular interview. Stuff that, we probably didn't even think about before we decided to talk about it, just things opening up, so.
Yes. So I know you're going on tonight. Do you want to promote that, or is there anything else you want to? Okay.
Promote that. Right. I mean, shout out to T Ford. If somebody, some people already know him. He's pretty well known in certain areas, Georgia, whatever. But he has Too Raw for TV. If anybody want to see it, toorawfortv.tv. I'll be on there doing an interview. I'm not really sure what the interview is about. That's why I'm not promoting it, because I don't really know what the line of questions are or what, I just seen it said something about the mayonnaise Messiah. We're gonna, of course, lead our people away from that. But no, the only thing is I don't really have much to say, but join me on Soljet Tarot if you guys want to tap into Metaphysical Monday. I'm on there every Monday with different guests, sometimes by myself doing deep metaphysical bills. You can also catch me, and that'll be starting next month on every first and third Thursday for Tarot Talk Thursday, and where I do readings, and not just readings, dream analysis and other forms of divination too. It's just a whole divinatory and dream work build. And yeah, that's something else to tap into. And soon we'll have the taboo nature of witchcraft and spirituality coming on Wednesdays, and Brother Knowledge will be joining me on some of these episodes. And that's pretty much it. Tap into Calligraphy TV for my YouTube, and new_Soljet_community on TikTok if you want to follow me on there. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you for coming through for another installment. We got to figure out a name or something for this series, because this series is dope. Okay. Oh
yeah, we gonna think of one. Just tap in with me in like 2 minutes, and I'll give you a name, because that's a good idea. Or we can just, because I definitely think it's a good idea.
Definitely.
Yeah, so and even if it's a type of movie that we're tapping into, like we've been doing a lot of these are 80 movies in early 90s. Mm-hmm. This is mid 90s, but still that era we grew up in, and we can keep it like that or just don't even matter. I don't know, but we'll figure it out. We shouldn't be discussing our plans before the world anyway. We need to have
what plans? He said what bike?
The plans to do the knowledge.
He said what bike?
Yeah, what plan? That's right. I'm so slow. I be so serious sometimes that I don't even realize you're joking. So I'm just like, when you said what plans, I'm like, the plans for Do the Knowledge Radio, but no, for this segment. Anyway, thank you again, Brother Knowledge, and yeah, we gonna hook it up. We're gonna get it together.
Yes. The great and wonderful Masterful Magic Mastermind, Sis'star Kola Soljet.
Okay. Thank you.
We out. Peace.
We out. Peace.
The painter, brother's letter. I should cut my ear off like Van Gogh. Stop performing at the Klan shows. Watch myself from the audience. Play piano with lit candles. I mean, I'll still perform, but the thrill is gone. I don't feel as strong, maybe because the wheel is torn. I clutch in a ball because I'm sick to my gut. Then I brushed off the dust, stood up like I was touched by